see everybody here today at this important event. I am Dave Everwin, the Superintendent of Schools here in the Salish School District, and I welcome you to this important event. I also have some other introductions that I'd like to do to recognize some other important people here this morning. I'd like to welcome Charles and Myrna Elliott, the artist Chaz Elliott's parents. Welcome. I'd like to also welcome some Wasanich elders. John Elliott is with us today, who will be leading us in song. Dan and Lila Sam. Sheila Austin is here today, and Rena Dule is here. Welcome, elders. I'd also like to welcome our board chair of the Salish Board of Education, Tim Dunford, is here today and will bring greetings. Also here today are Lila Underwood, Vice Chair of the Wasanich School Board and Council Member for the Pocatchin First Nation. Welcome, Lila. And her husband, Bruce Underwood, a community member from Sayout and the Executive Director of the Coast Salish Training and Employment Society, one of our important district partners. Welcome, Bruce. I'd also like to welcome some of our other school board trustees here this morning. Vice Chair Terry Van Well is here, Nola Silzer and Sheila Stelk. Welcome. And of course, two very important people are joining us today. The carvers of this magnificent house post, Chaz and Matt Elliott, are here. Welcome, gentlemen. And we are honored to have Brad Baker with us, the Associate Superintendent of Indigenous Education from the Ministry of Education and Childcare. Welcome, Brad, an old friend of mine from the North Shore in Vancouver. Welcome. We acknowledge and thank the Wasanich people on whose traditional territory we live, learn, and teach. The Wasanich people have lived and worked on this land since time immemorial. Today is National Indigenous Peoples Day, a day that was chosen in part because it is the longest day of the year, the summer solstice, and a time when many Indigenous peoples and communities have celebrated their rich cultures and heritage. Today, as we acknowledge the traditional land of the Wasanich people, we also celebrate their language, their culture, and their history. With the unveiling of this Salish Housepost, we reinforce our district's commitment to a new and inclusive education system that builds on this recognition and its importance in our schools and in what we teach. It's also important that I take a minute here to acknowledge some other people who helped put this event together. To our district facilities department, who worked tirelessly to not only obtain the house post from the studio on Wasanich land, but brought it here, kept it safe, and installed it and beautified the area around it for the significance of this important day. So thank you to our facilities department. And thank you to two other people who helped to coordinate this event. Sherry Burton from the Indigenous Education Department and Shannon Davies, who works upstairs in our office to help coordinate. Thank you, ladies, for this. At this point in the program, I'd like to call upon John Elliott to come up, who will welcome you to the territory and to this unveiling ceremony. Mr. Elliott, thank you.
Rachel, Siam, Shalacha, see divine is spread and spread up in us, Esa, Tian, put out in a pretty again. Divine is spread up in us, put out in a steep with the Massam, eating a steep in his mat, disgrace the hoop stays, and not the Jesus, the men's chase of the hoop stays, except for the service arch. Siasa sumok, ay nispanas pala punsa, nipunangan na kuliya, tiyan na pinastela sa tiyan. Dito ay the Squash School District 63 Kontal Makupding at Palgo. So that's at the excitement. They've started to have offices, they're safe, they're so upo, they're shit like Kontal, see. Iesen knas esa knas is kokats die kwam niet toe geneen steen is. Het toe geneen steen is het ding. Well, I'm just welcoming each and every one of you today and saying that I have a wonderful feeling to be here with you today on this very special occasion. Welcome me to this part of the homelands of the Salish people. And the good feeling that we have with working with School District 63 and all of our students, our children, our young our young men and young women that go to school in our district schools, and all the people that work with them, all the teachers and all the TAs that work with our children. It's a wonderful feeling that we have to be able to have a wonderful relationship with you. You know, our late father, Dave Elliott, worked with School District 63 many years ago and was able to do the saltwater people, worked along with Janet Roth, who worked with the school district as well. And we had a wonderful relationship with those former workers that were working here on the school district office. I was just saying earlier, it's wonderful to see my nephews. I'm happy to be here with my nephew Chaz and my grandnephew Matt. To be here on this special occasion when they're unveiling this beautiful work, following the ways of their father Martin. The ways of carving. And I was saying that in the language that carving is like a prayer. It's like a prayer to tell the stories, tell the history of the lands, of our homelands, our spells, our beliefs, our laws, and our values that we hold as a people. So I want to thank you again, School District 63, for having this wonderful event and having this beautiful carving here in front of your beautiful office in Housepost. And I'll do a song and the boys can unveil it. Thank you. So the song I was singing is like a protection prayer song, to have protection over the people that are working together in a good way. Kunnen het ook net zien dat de lessen afzetten. Dus dat kunnen zien wat ik
Haishka John, that was beautiful. Thank you very much for honoring us with your song and your words. I would like to call upon the lead carver to come up. If Chaz Elliott could come up and say a few words about this simply outstandingly beautiful work in front of us that has been unveiled. Chaz? Thanks.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming everyone. Just want to say a quick few thank yous for, there was a lot of people who were actually involved in this project. It wasn't just my brother and myself. My dad actually did the design and the concept. And, he's sitting up here with the cedar hat up front. And also my mom, she inspired the blanket design. She's actually a weaver of many years now. She's been doing Salish weaving in our traditional style. So there's a lot of inspiration drawn from both my parents. And also as well as my nephew, who's not here today, but his name's Tavian, and my sister Cedar. I don't see her out there, but they actually came and my nephew, he carved. He's actually another grandson, so there's 3 generations that actually worked on this. And my sister Cedar, she paints when it's time. So there's a lot of family involved in this project. And we both get a lot of support in and out of the shop there where we carve, and it's friends and family that stop in and they help us see these projects through from the start to the end. So Aishka and whoever's here today, thank you so much. Aishka Siam. A little bit about what you guys are looking at right now. This is a Housepost. It's actually a pillar for our old Salish homes. And it would hold a beam going across. It's a structure to a house, and they were often decorated, and they were decorated with different things that were symbolic to maybe something as this one is a welcoming house post. It's welcoming. Other ones may have been symbolic to a family. It could be their crest, or it could have been telling a story. This is also a story pole. It's from my understanding. It was the district, they were doing acts towards reconciliation, and they contacted my dad and they came up with an idea to do a welcoming pole. So this is to glorify also the student success that come through the school system through here. So this is where it began. And the designs on here are to symbolize protection and community and welcome. The rope on the top and the bottom, that's symbolic to our survival story, where we tied ourselves from the Great Flood to our arbutus tree on the top of our mountain, Slailnof Mountain, which is Mount Newton, as you guys may know it. And lady is wearing, it's a wool blanket. Traditionally, it was mixed with Salish woolly dog and mountain goat hair. That's how the fibers of the blanket were made. And there's a blanket pin holding it up like a cape around the lady's shoulder there. And she's wearing also a Salish bowl style hat that's just kind of unique to our Salish people, that shape of cedar hat. And what she's wearing is kind of a cedar fiber dress. And at her legs there, it's a frog, it's a split frog. If you look at it from one side, there's one frog, from the other, there's another, but together they make 2. And I think there's something special about that, because different perspectives can come together. And we don't all have to look at one thing one way. We can see it from different ways. But when we come together, something as special as this day happens. So, that's about all I got to say right now. I'm running out of words. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming. Let's go.
Thanks to Chaz and Matt. Thank you very much. And your story of how she came to be and what she represents is important to not only the local First Nation community, but to us as a school district in terms of that embracing and that protection and that nurturing. She is an extremely welcome addition to our school district property here, and we thank you for your guidance and your artistic creativity over the last number of months to bring her to life. So thank you very much, Heichka. At this point in time, I'd like to call upon Board Chair, Mr. Tim Dunford, to say a few words.
Thank you, Superintendent. I'm so glad that Chaz and Matt unveiled the poll now as opposed to at the end, because we can truly honor it, seeing it and understanding. On behalf of the Board of Education of the district, I am pleased to thank and welcome each of you for attending and honoring the ceremony and the Housepost this morning. The superintendent mentioned that this is National Indigenous Peoples Day, and what better occasion to present this Housepost and reflect on Indigenous peoples and their culture and history than today. As we all are concerned about and continue our efforts, particularly at the school district, to work towards respect and reconciliation of our communities. You may know or remember that this spring the board adopted a strategic plan consisting of 4 goals, one of which is Indigenous Learner Success. And so we look forward to allocating district resources more pointedly, more clearly as we may, towards that effort here at Salish schools. And that goal too, and that work is consistent with the symbol as I understand it, has been explained by Chaz. My understanding is that some years ago, and Chaz referred to this, that the district, in the context of understanding the necessity and importance and the hard work of reconciliation, commissioned the work, commissioned the poll that we see, the post that we see here today. And its purpose is to remind us all of the district's commitment to Indigenous learner success and to the work for reconciliation and respect and honoring Indigenous peoples. I appreciate Chaz's explanation of the work, and I understand that he and Matt incorporated traditional Wasanich style and form and design into the post to remind us of the Indigenous peoples and their culture and history in this territory. And so she is a welcoming figure for those who come into the center of our educational enterprise here at the administration office. It will be a reminder, and I guess also saying goodbye till the next time as you walk out. And it will be a reminder of the continued work that's necessary to achieve our goals of true reconciliation, and the fact that our education system here in Salish District takes place and operates entirely on Wasanich territory. So I also want to specifically acknowledge that we are meeting here on Wasanich territory. The superintendent mentioned this, but I think particularly given the circumstances, it bears noting again that the board understands the importance of the territory, of our meeting on it, our working on it. The Wasanich peoples have lived, worked, learned, loved, grown, and so much more since time immemorial. And so we offer, on behalf of the board, this acknowledgement respectfully and humbly, and in deep appreciation of steps intended to advance reconciliation of our communities. So again, thank you for attending, thank you for your interest, and thank you for your shared commitment for the work represented by this beautiful Housepost.
Thank you, Mr. Dunford, for your kind and thoughtful words. I'd like to call upon Melissa Austin to join me up here at the podium to say some concluding comments at the end of this ceremony. I'll let you go first, Melissa.
Hello everyone, my name is Melissa Austin. My traditional name is Halamitza, and I'm from the Startup First Nation. And I have the honor and privilege of serving my community as District Principal for Indigenous Education. And I want to thank you all for being here to witness the unveiling of a truly remarkable welcome Housepost that has been a vision and a hope for us for many years in our school district. And I think it's very important for any visitors who come to our school district to be greeted by this Housepost, to acknowledge the history of this land and the caretakers of this land, and also to symbolize the work that we have ahead, the work that we have started working on in terms of Indigenous education in our school district, but the vision that we have ahead for Indigenous student success and for Indigenous education for all. And so that work is also symbolized as our staff come here today or come to work. They will be greeted by this welcome figure and reminded to ground themselves in that work, in that history of our people, and to take that work forward for our students in our schools. And so I'm just very grateful to Charles for the work that we did together on coming up with this concept, and I really value and will always remember and hold that time dearly where I got to work with you on that project and other projects we did with the curricular competencies, and really I'm grateful for that opportunity, and also for working alongside Chaz with this. Just really appreciate his flexibility and his willingness to work alongside us with such an important opportunity for our school districts. And as alumni, it was also a wonderful opportunity for our students to see something that they aspire to. So I will turn it over to Dave, but also just want to acknowledge all of you for being here on a day that I know in our community is very busy, and to thank you to John for coming to start us off, and for your song that as we were unveiling today. I really appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. As superintendent, it's these types of events that I feel very humbled to be at. To live in a community, to work here, to have my family here amongst a community that values the importance of family and relationships and community certainly reminds me of the important work that we have before us. And Melissa mentioned that we are on this journey of reconciliation together. This is not a solitary journey, but one that we share together as a large community. We have begun the journey towards truth and reconciliation. We still have many, many more travels to go to reach that goal. But I am honored to be part of that journey, to work with everybody here as we continue along that path. The relationship that we have with the local Salish community is one that we don't take for granted. That we work every day to honor it and to reinforce it and to listen and to learn. We're on this journey together. This is an important milestone for us. And as indicated, she will remind us every day as we walk into this place of work, of the work before us and the journey that we have together. So on behalf of the school district, I want to thank Chaz and Matt again for their work, for allowing us, Melissa and I, to pop by the studio every now and then to see how she was progressing. I remember the first visit when she was simply a chalk outline on a block of cedar. And I had a bit of a vision as to what she was going to turn out to be, but I certainly didn't envision this magnificent structure before us today. And while I've seen her down in a horizontal position back in the facilities yard for the last little while, to see her elevated like this and vertical and sharing her warmth and her community with us as we come in is certainly spellbinding. And I feel very, very fortunate to be here, to be part of it. And so thank you, gentlemen, for all your work in bringing her to life for us. That concludes the official part of our ceremony. There are some cupcakes and some tea and some juice inside the boardroom, inside the office here. We encourage you to stay and to mingle, to chat with the distinguished elders before us here this morning, and to talk with the artists, and to revel in the glory of the Housepost before us. So thank you again, everybody, for coming out, and thank you for being part of this important ceremony. Aichka.